Okay.
I did also.
Everyone is admitting.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we organized this workshop in our project because we believe that kind of to embrace the spirit of democracy and equity of the maker movement, we need more discussion on how to empower different marginalized people and minorities and at-risk groups with digital fabrication and making. So in the workshop, we will be presenting to you a little bit about our Make for Change project. It aims to strengthen the social inclusions and skill set of unemployed young people and immigrants in the Oulu area that are currently outside the labor market through digital fabrication and making activities. And then we will discuss with you and work with you to try and identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats present when we are organizing activities with different marginalized groups in makerspaces and Fab Labs. And Marta will also present to you guys a SWOT table that we made on our experiences so far. So we are aiming for a workshop that is about an hour, between an hour and a half. Go ahead, Lynn.
Yes, so our project Make for Change is funded by the European Social Fund, and it started 1 year ago in last August in 20, and lasts for 3 years. Well, it's led by University of Oulu, the Faculty of Information Technology and Electrical Engineering. And like said, we are from Interact and UPComp research units, and then also Fab Lab Oulu is involved in the project. So in the project, we arrange workshops where participants learn important 21st century skills through different kinds of digital fabrication related projects in workshops. And our target group is in the project are the unemployed people, specifically youth and immigrant background, who have immigrant background. Can change the slide. And what do we offer for the participants is the transferable skills, which are important and useful in like contemporary working life, such as creative thinking, designing skills, critical thinking, problem solving, and then entrepreneurship thinking and rapid prototyping, computational thinking and computer skills, but then also communication, teamwork, and language skills, and then project management in general and documenting of work. In some workshops also programming and electronics. And last but not least is the verbalizing and kind of reflecting on skills and learning during the workshops, which is also very important skills in the work life. And during our first year now, as we have run the project for a year, we have first of all identified organizations and projects already arranging activities for our target groups in this Oulu area. And we have marketed our project for them, and we have collaborated with them and planned activities and ran workshops with collaboration with those organizations. And organizations we have worked with so far are City of Oulu Youth Services, these kind of daily youth workshops, and also open youth services that young people can come and go there freely. And then City of Oulu Business Station, which is the employment service, and we have collaborated with them as well. And then this Veeran Verstas, which is kind of youth arts workshop for young people who are interested on having their career related to arts later on, and looking for their kind of what they could do related to arts in their lives. And then ODL, Oulu Deaconess Foundation, and HDL, which is the Helsinki Deaconess Foundation, both are organizations which arrange kind of activities for young people who have some disabilities or other kind of issues in their lives, and also these immigrant youngsters. And then some projects that we have worked with is Vamos Oulu, which is the, doing things with immigrant youth, and then this Vapaata Tilaa, which is related to those young artists. And then Diginikkarit project, which teaches coding for unemployed people, basically. And during the first year, we managed to have 16 workshops about basics of digital fabrication, including introductions to digital fabrications, and then some Inkscape and basics of vinyl and laser cutting. And more advanced activities are planned for the future. And during the first year, we had 71 participants in total, and 54 of them were under 25 years of age. So most of them were young people, and 33 of them were officially unemployed. There were also some students or some people with traineeships and stuff like that. And then we had 6 immigrants. But more about our successes and challenges a bit later on in this workshop.
In the group exercise, we will be doing a SWOT table about making with marginalized or at-risk populations. So it's quite straightforward. I think most of you have probably done it before at some point. It involves capturing the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats that are relevant to the situation. So these strengths and weaknesses, they are internal factors to the individual, the organization, or the group that you want to analyze. And then opportunities and threats, they are outside factors that might impact them in the situation that you want to analyze. And we can use this SWOT table in the future to help us plan how to kind of use participant strengths to take advantage of the opportunities that are present in the situation, how to overcome any weaknesses that prevent us from taking advantage of opportunities, how strengths can be used to lessen the likelihood of these threats happening, and what to do about weaknesses to make threats less likely. So we've chosen to do this SWOT table with you guys in a Padlet form. So later on, Marta will present to you a Padlet that she did based on our work previously, a SWOT analysis about Make for Change. So now we are inviting you to kind of do a SWOT analysis of the groups that you're interested in working with or have worked with. So we will share you a link to a SWOT Padlet. And then we would like you all to map out individually in that Padlet, first the marginalized or at-risk groups that you have worked with or want to work with. Any strengths that you believe that this group has that could help them in learning digital fabrication and making. Weaknesses that might prevent or hinder their learning or participation. Any opportunities that you can see that could be taken advantage while trying to get them to participate or learn digital fabrication, and any threats that might be impacting the process. I can share with you guys, I'm going to stop screen sharing for a little bit and share you the Padlet. Address.
I have shared the address in the chat.
Okay. So go ahead and check it out. And if you have any questions or comments to us, just speak up or write in the chat.
So we can make it a little bit. Can you open the Padlet, Heidi, so we see
the share screen? Yeah. Yep. Can you guys see it? Are we on the same spot?
Wait.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so we are not that many people, so perhaps what we could do is starting with Megumi, Leo, Emmanuel, Osvaldo, and Daniel, asking what kind of groups are you usually working with? So have you been working with any of these marginalized or under-risk of exclusion groups? And tell very little about your experience.
We have one new participant also, Gianluca just joined. So we are, at the moment, we are doing a Padlet of SWOT analysis about making activities with marginalized or at-risk groups. So it's a group activity. So if you want to check out the Padlet, the link was shared in the chat. I think you can still see it and you can start mapping out with us.
Thank you.
Sorry, Ivan, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No problem. Actually, if does someone of the audience have any experience working with these type of groups? We see they're immigrants.
I have experience of, I was in the Finnish language course offered by the office. I think that many of the students there were the wives of the Finnish husband. And somehow I felt like they are not that kind of, it's not depressed, but they are not that much kind of enthusiastic of living here, maybe because they don't have like anything else than like studying Finnish. And they, not everyone, but some of them said that I'm just coming here to get the money from Kela. So like that kind of motivation. So like it was a little bit kind of not that, I haven't met that kind of person at the universities. So it was surprising. So like it came to my mind when I saw this SWOT analysis, but I don't know how I can proceed it from here.
So it's kind of they lack internal motivation or might lack internal motivation, and the motivation to participate in the activities might come from outside of them, external motivation.
Yes, yeah, maybe it's like the situation that they were put in is something that it doesn't like encourage them to start something new, or yeah, felt like that. And maybe for the internal part, that they might be feeling that they cannot speak Finnish, and they, like many of them are not kind of skills that can that can be used immediately at work, probably. So it was, they probably don't have that much confidence in working, probably. I haven't like discussed like directly, but I felt in that way. And like they don't know how to write a CV, and they don't have the LinkedIn and so on. Like this probably makes them prevent them looking for job, or like actively looking for a job.
Yeah. So they might be lacking in these basic career building skills or vocalizing their skills.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah.
point to make. Be sure to write that down somewhere.
Yes.
Is it a weakness or a threat?
Maybe I thought it's internal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should I adding that in the Padlet?
Yeah, anything you can think of, go ahead and map it out. There's an interesting thread. Someone mentioned COVID-19. I think we have something related to that in our own Padlet too. Who mentioned COVID-19? Do you have something to say about that?
Osvaldo, can you talk? Or would you like to talk?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, hello. So basically I wrote all the SWOT. How can I pronounce that, SWOT?
Yeah.
So I started with immigrants. So I live now, I'm from Mexico and I live in Japan. So I'm working very close with immigrants. And the traits is about the cultural diversity. The weaknesses is the language barrier and the opportunities. So we have many organizations, local organizations that are helping immigrants to integrate to the working lives and any advice for living in foreign countries. And the traits that I wrote about external is COVID-19, because we cannot meet in person, face to face. So we are working a lot through online. But of course, immigrants, sometimes they'll feel alone. The problem is more emotionally. They feel loneliness. So because COVID-19 is just stay at home and connect through online. So we can feel that kind of loneliness, like emotional problems, or affective problems, I think so. Not social, not the skills, it's more focused on affective problems. That's all. Thank you.
So Osvaldo, can you develop, you mentioned that you have been working with immigrants. So are you doing some activities related to digital fabrication, or is some kind of other, you are collaborating with them in some other environment?
Oh, yes. We started a new organization here in Japan. So we have around formally maybe 2 months, but we start this year with a workshop. It's about how to prototype products and services, but try to first of all try to identify local problems. So we are helping them to address, like using design thinking or kind of that methodologies to address one local problem. So to learn about that, analyzing that, and then prepare or make solutions. For example, about the garbage problem. So they need to prototype one service or new product around this. So that's the purpose. So we are focused on the process, how to think or how to collaborate with immigrants to try to focus different solutions or to the problems, not the last thing about the results. We are not focusing to really to develop a service or product. or we are focusing on the process.
I think that's very clever because, I mean, when you are solving community problems, you also need to understand the community you are living in. So you need to understand the society you're living in. So I guess that it helps also the immigrants to understand better how the society is working, which are the problems of the society that might be totally different to the problems that they have in their original countries, right? So how do you see that?
Yes, it's very interesting because we are working not only with immigrants, so there are many Japanese people who are interested to learn about culture and language, and they are helping them or helping us. I'm including. So we are working together, not only immigrants. So it's very very good community. We are making a learning community with immigrants and Japanese people together.
That's great. So thanks, Osvaldo, for telling what you are doing there in Japan. What else?
I think the cultural diversity thing would be super interesting. Like, is anyone making or doing digital fabrication and making activities in a way that kind of tries to take advantage of or use the participants' background somehow in the making activities as an asset, or encouraging them to create something that is based on their own culture?
Yes.
I
started working with people with disabilities, and then I focused on youth, on kids, and in a context of very, very, very few resources. So at some point I had the chance to share technologies, but in a way that was kind of making them feel not part of the community because of the lack of the same resources. So now what I'm trying to do is not to use anything that it's hard to get for yourself. So I really love the idea of taking like the chance, the opportunity of the garbage problem, like to do some recycling or taking like electronic components, because that's the only thing we can get for free. And maybe it's a chance to add like some storytelling. I mean, I've been using the idea of digital fabrication, of invention, but focusing a lot on telling a story about that, because maybe just like you're willing to help others by inventing, I don't know, a device, is like a powerful energy for others just to feel like they are part of the community because something is trying to help you. And so although you can't get like the final result, maybe there is a intermediate result that starts like creating community.
So Leo, your working group is then kids or children with disabilities, right? This is what you mentioned. Or...
No. I started like working with people with disabilities,
okay.
But then like in the practice of developing like communication in a way that it's accessible, I understood that if it's accessible for people with disabilities, or if it's accessible for kids, then it's accessible for others. And so like I'm really trying to make like slow progress, because you know I'm kind of a person that wants to get to the end of things like quick, but sometimes the context or sometimes that energy, you know, it threatens like the people you want to help because they see you as, I don't know, like an ET or I don't know. So now I'm trying to like calm down and start like having a different approach, not like the one that is going to bring you the opportunity to help you, but just like making friends, like having the time to know other people's stories. And because maybe I had like an idea of like a musical instrument, like with artificial intelligence, and all the cost of developing that maybe is needed for like food or house, you know. So it's like a challenge, you know, like, and for us, for all the work together, because like I feel like in all these Fab communities, you have like a really developed Fab Labs, and you talk about like rapid prototyping and all the things that are incredible. But for us, like getting access to a 3D printer or even a filament, you know, it's really hard. And for people that have never seen like a robot or a 3D printer, it's like a huge like wow, or like aha experience just to see that exists. And so the challenge is to make them feel that they can be part of that. And the challenge for me is like being part of this community and making others like feel part of this without having any material resources, you know, just the willing to help and share all that cultural, all the background stories, that it's like a key ingredient, you know, to give like sense and horizon to the solutions.
Wow, this is amazing, because when we organize these workshops, we have plenty of material and resources available. So this is a nice reflection. We have not considered how this could be replicated, for example, in some other places that they don't have that much resources. So this is very important point, and I think the work that you are doing there in your community is really important. I mean, it's thank you very much for sharing with us.
Did Osvaldo have a comment or something you would like to share? I saw you raised your hand earlier.
Yes, something Leo mentioned before about storytelling. I think storytelling is very interesting tool for prototyping, especially for this group that I'm working on with immigrants, because we didn't know, but many people of immigrants have skills, for example, digital skills. They like drawing, they like animation, making animation. So we used those traits to try to immigrants try to self-express or be how can I say that, to be understand, to use their kind of skills to send a message or try to, because the problem is the language. So it's like through storytelling, they can use oral storytelling, writing storytelling, animation, visual, different kind of formats and media. So I think it's very interesting working with storytelling. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share what there's a lot of stuff there already. Pernas, do you have something to say? I think you have been working with immigrant families too, right?
Yes, but I wrote, actually, there's someone, okay, wrote something about different working culture in threads. Mm-hmm. And something that I have observed is about, for example, hierarchies. Sometimes in some cultures, there is some specific kind of like respect that kids should show toward their parents, and it will affect their work. For example, the ideation in our case, like when the kid's voice was really weak and couldn't like really express what they wanted because they were respecting their parents' idea, for example. So hierarchies.
Yeah, that's really interesting. How did you try and take that into account in the project?
We actually didn't, because we didn't have those considerations in the project, yeah. Like a setting. So this is like the result and the observation that we had out of these. Yeah. And then I added something else about like opportunities. I think if it is about the family participants, it is a good opportunity for the kids, for example, to learn about their original culture, if the activity is around their culture, to make something related to their culture. And then they can, for example, group with their grandparents and learn more about it from them.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
Yeah. Yeah, because the kids themselves don't know that much about the culture, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they don't discuss it that much even at home, especially if the family has immigrated like a long time ago. But if there is an opportunity to just group work with grandparents, I think they can have a richer learning and understanding about the culture.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. I will add if something else comes to my mind.
Ivan, were you going to say something?
I mean the main focus has been in immigrants, but is anyone in the audience work with any other group that might be marginalized or under risk of exclusion? So Marta later is going to discuss a little bit. We have been mainly focused on youngsters that they are not still working, they are not studying. So this has been one of our main groups. We have been a lot of discussion now about immigrants, but is there any other group that you have been working with? I don't know. Leo has been commenting a little bit of people with disabilities, but is there any other group? Or I don't know if Emmanuel, Daniel, or Antonio, they have something in mind. Unemployed. Daniel, can you discuss a little bit about your experience with unemployed?
Yeah, basically everything is connected to the, I'm talking about from my country, Nigeria. My lab in Nigeria has been able to try to show the unemployed people how to adequately utilize their time, and also to use digital fabrication through 3D printing and just some basic electronic skills to create some other avenues for themselves to spend in the time while they get a job, to get more skills that makes themselves more marketable in the job market. And yeah, and also with regards to the skills training, because back home in Nigeria, the educational level is still more theoretically based. So we give them the opportunity for them to also get some few hands-on experience with some technologies. Like 3D printing is still very, very fresh and new. So we're giving them the opportunity to get more acquainted with digital fabrication technologies, so that they can actually put it on their CV, or state like, okay, they're doing something like that. And also we provide internship opportunity for them also to be able to add more to their skill set as well. So that's basically what we've done so far.
And do you have any comments on your main challenge or which are going to be your threats. So main challenge that you have had, or what something that you have done in such a way that you consider that, okay, we succeed because one of the things that we have done is this one?
Yeah, the main challenge is still because lack of support from the government. Like I see most EU projects here, they've all been funded by the governments and stuff. But my own main challenge is I don't have support from anywhere. I've just been running my lab from my salary here in Germany and just been contributing to the community. So that's like the threat to the stuff. And based on the strength is more like on the willingness of the team that I have been able to build to solve problems, and the willingness of the people that needs the skills to actually find means of, more localized means of solving problems rather than thinking too much of importation and things like that. So the challenge mostly is on resources, but at the same time, we've been able to circumvent a little bit using our strength to reduce our reliance on lack of capital.
Thank you. I see here in the thread, someone has written about racism or stereotypes. I think this is an important thread, especially in this kind of group.
Yeah, so, I did write about that.
Okay, so can you develop it?
Yeah, because I work in Germany and stuff like that, and I'm of the African origin. And so this perfectly, the concept talks about me, and I've been moving around countries a lot. So I see lots of all those things. Like during my time in South Africa, there was xenophobic attack and stuff like that. And sometimes here in Germany, yeah, you would always feel that. So no matter, I'm a lab manager, and sometimes you feel marginalized, like when people of the other color are doing stuff, and you as a manager, you are kind of like marginalized, thinking because you are of this particular skin color set, you don't have the skills. Meanwhile, you're actually much more better. So it connects to what the person mentioned, part of motivation and confidence. It affects you because, I'm much more equipped, but I'm being judged because, I'm from Africa. They think, yeah, they're still not that good. So I have seen that. And even part of interacting with some people in the Fab conference as well, I still do see that a little bit of marginalization based on skin color, a little bit here and there. So that's the reason why I put it there.
How can you take that into consideration when you are organizing this workshop? Because this is an important problem, a really, really important problem in some countries more than in others, of course, but still is a problem that is happening everywhere. How do you think, or first of all, have you deal with this topic in your own workshop? Have you considered this issue when you are organizing your own workshops? And secondly, how digital fabrication can be used to educate people and to make them more open. Do you have any ideas on this?
Yeah, I think number one, on the Fab Charter, they should kind of like spell it out. Like we are promoting egalitarianism, right? It's written there, but they should kind of like maybe bolden it a little bit so that people can see, okay, this is kind of like a key focus. And one method that I have different methods to balance it. Sometimes it's actually maybe fight or flight. Those two methods, that's what I use. So I look at the situation. Do I need to defend myself in this situation? If I feel it's not really worth it, I just like in renewable energy source, I take it in and I just move on. Or if I feel like it's just too much and I can actually stand up and I just tell the person what you're doing, you may think it's funny, but it's just not supposed to be in such environment. It's more like it's human nature. Some people have the good side. Some people tend to lean towards it's just human nature. There is no way you could literally just suppress it, but everybody just needs to come to the awareness that, yeah, we are talking about openness here. And openness means openness irrespective of the skin color. So you tend to see all those things. So it's more human nature, but it's left to the person doing it, how the person thinks, and the person that they are doing it to, how the person also thinks. So my own method is actually fight or flight. So I check maybe the situation and I decide on what to do based on those two methods. But I would say the Fab Charter should actually spell it out more, because it's something that people don't really, Fab Lab is really, really cool, but I have seen it 3 times already that it has a little bit happened to me. I mean, yeah, stuff like that. So that's why I just put it there.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing your concern here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If you allow me, I'd like just to use a couple of minutes. So first of all, thank you very much. My name is Antonio. I'm watching the conference from Portugal. The reason why I'm here is that I'm interested in the whole makers and distributed everything for a long time. The first time I was in a Fab conference was in Lima, in Peru, 2011, 10 years ago, at the Fab 7. Since then, I have refocused on my main areas and business, which is organizational development. But after a little bit over 25 years working on that field, I have decided to leave my company from an operational standpoint. I'm just collaborating in a different way. And I am a total outsider trying to catch up with what is going on with the makers movement, with the Fab movement, with everything all over the place. I met Thomas Diaz back then. I met Alex Schaub also he was yesterday on Fab TV, if you have seen him. I met him in Amsterdam as a consequence of going to Fab 7. But in concrete terms, I have nothing that I could contribute because I'm actually doing anything. I'm just trying to re-educate myself and learn and witness and get everything that I can from the conference. And this is just who I am and where I am at. And I take the opportunity to apologize, but in about 5 minutes I have to leave because I have another commitment. And I thank you very much for having accepted me in the room. And maybe we'll see each other around at some point in time. But that was from my side, Ivan. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Antonio. We'll be happy to discuss later if you want with you.
Thank you very much.
I think we have a lot of things already there in the SWOT. I don't know if I think everybody has expressed their opinion. I don't know, Emmanuel, do you have something to say? Do you have any experience with some of these marginalized or people under risk of exclusion groups? Have you been working with them? Okay. What about Wang Song? We are, I don't know, I think that you arrived a little bit later. So what we are discussing is we are trying to create a SWOT table. So we are trying to define strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats when organizing workshops, especially focusing people, either marginalized people or people under risk of exclusion. So I don't know if you have any experience on this that you would like to share with us? No. Okay, I don't know, Heidi, if we can continue, or do you think we can comment?
I think we can continue. I would like for everyone to, if you think of anything else, please go still and add your comments and different strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats here, because we are planning on using this SWOT and kind of elaborating on it a bit and combining it with the Make for Change SWOT that you will see later on. And we are hoping to send out the summary in some form after the conference to the participants. So we are likely to put it in our social media or our website. So yeah, so anything that you want to elaborate on in this work, please go ahead even later on. I will now let Marta present the Make for Change what. If I can just share my screen again with the Zoom. Yeah, it's starting from the beginning. Wait a second. Where were we? Okay. Go ahead, Marta.
Okay, so well, we are going to present this what we have been working on about the Make for Change project. Some of the information there is based on this publication we have with the work we have done with the young people. So empowering unemployed youth through digital fabrication is the name of the publication. But okay, we can maybe go to our table. So maybe Heidi, if you can, yes. So this is our analysis, the analysis we have done from the Make for Change project. I will add a couple of things that I totally got from the conversation from the participants at the end of this, and that I totally share with them, but that will be later. So I'm not going to go column by column in this SWOT analysis. I will just tell about what has been our experience in this year. So I will first mention the elephant in the room that has been for everybody trying to do any kind of training with digital fabrication this year, that is the COVID. We have that in the thread, in the threads column at the end. It has, of course, affected a lot, and maybe this kind of population we are working with a bit more, but we have not focused the analysis on all the complications around COVID, because I think it is a topic by itself. We wanted more to focus on what are the characteristics of these people we are working with. And so, okay, so up to now, we have worked with mainly with two groups of people that are immigrant ladies and young people that are not studying, neither working right now. Our bigger targeted group are unemployed. But the first thread we found is that it's a very diverse group, and it is very difficult to reach them, for example, through social media. So there is not a Facebook page for unemployed in Oulu. So it is difficult to get their attention or to reach them, to know that this opportunity we are giving them exists. So we took the opportunity to contact, as it was mentioned by other participants, to contact local organizations that are already working with this population. So in our case, it was an organization that already has a sewing workshop for immigrant ladies, and also the municipal Northern Tiopaya in Finnish, that are thematic youth workshops that are organized for young people in the Oulu region that are in this situation that they are not studying nor working. They don't know what they are going to do in many cases. So they go to this workshop. So we have contacted these two organizations. And this also gave us the opportunity of taking advantage of the existing structures and routines to give some structure to our workshops and work with these groups. So also it gave us the opportunity to give to base the basic instruction in their interests, in the participants' interests. So some of the strengths of these groups, all of them had some different skills that are somehow related to digital fabrication. It can be very basic design thing, or it can be more digital design with some tools that they have already done, or they have already worked with machines, like the immigrant ladies, they know how to use the sewing machines, or they have very good design skills in arts and crafts. So a lot of fabrication related skills. There is one workshop that is related to woodworking, for example. So there were always some basic skills there that we could start working with. Most of the young people already had some basic computer skills which was helping our work. And there is something that was mentioned somewhere also in the SWOT we were building together, that is this willingness and enthusiasm. This is a groups of people that usually don't get that much attention. So if you organize things for them, in general, there is they are willing to participate. There are, of course, weaknesses we need to take into consideration. As some of them, they have basic computer skills, but there are others that they have very low computer skills, or they are feeling intimidated by machines and technology. So we found this in some of the participants already. And for example, with the immigrant ladies, they have many of them very low Finnish language skills and not at all English language skills, which was a challenge for them and for us. Also, we found that some participants had some learning disabilities or mental issues, and that we were not aware of, and that we cannot ask about. So this, of course, can affect their attention span and increase frustration. So that is a threat that the participation is, of course, voluntary for our workshops. So if frustration grows very, very high, then they can just leave and not continue with the training. And also that we have, the way we have organized, it is not a complete course like Fab Academy that you have to follow, you just register and you have to follow. We have independent workshops that anybody can join. So we need to organize the workshops in such a way that we go to the basics each time. So this also comes with some limitations, as trying not to get the participants bored, for example. So one of our focus in when we organize these workshops is that we want to make them reflect. So for us, it's very important that they reflect on their experience, what they have learned. And it is a big threat for us not achieving that. So we have been looking and trying to get a lot of tools to help them. And we have tried different methods to help them vocalize and internalize what they have learned with the different workshops. So one thing trying to lower the frustration is that we have found that doing these guided tasks that have very clear goals help them support getting started and lower the initial barrier. So it helps them to get more enthusiastic about the workshops. And also, of course, this is something we all know when we work with digital fabrication. So they give them the opportunity to create something customized that they can use. It always helps sparking their interest. So the end reflection goes to the group leaders. So we found that group leaders feel themselves insecure about technology sometimes, and that might be a threat for the workshops going on well, because they may not be interested in getting part, in taking part in the workshops themselves. Because we found that if you get the group leaders motivated, they are a great asset for helping with the development of the workshop. And even if you get them engaged, really engaged, they will do more persistent digital fabrication activities with the groups they are working with. And one huge achievement we have, for example, in Make for Change, we are very happy of that, is that in some of the groups, they are getting, they are interested in getting themselves machines. So because they have noticed that it really gives some interesting skills for the people they are working with. So now I have finished with what we have written there, but then I would like to I agree with Leo and Osvaldo, what they have said, that we have actually, this is not mentioned here, but we have focused on, we have used digital fabrication up to now to help them express themselves. And it has been, they have been expressing, for example, how important is the group they belong to for them. So also, I think it was Leo who started with that. I think it is super important with these kind of groups to take the time to know them, because sometimes they are very insecure, they have their own issues, and you try to force some kind of workshop, very nice, but you are going to do this super, and they are not interested at all, or you don't manage to grasp their interest. So if you take the time to talk to them and see which are their interests, why are they feeling so insecure, you can really help them, and it is really makes a big difference in the results on this workshop. Okay, so I think now I'm done. So I think Ivan can now go, if you think, Heidi, Ivan can now go to the wrapping up of the.
Yeah. Thank you, Marta. Ivan, do you want to lead the wrapping up discussion?
Yeah, why not? So, well, first of all, I would like to know if some of the audience has any comments on what Marta has said. So do you have, would you like to contribute with something, or do you have any addition to Marta's presentation? Okay, so
yes.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I really like that, and it made me think that I'm also working with adaptive skiing, and it's really challenging, and especially with kids with Down syndrome, because they lost like interest and focus like really quick. So at some point you have them experience like the activity, like really motivated, like making progress, but in a few seconds, like waiting in the line for, I don't know, to go up the mountain, you lose them, you know? And so it's a key, I mean, not to lose that initial motivation that you get, and especially to get attention like to frustration issues and to tackle them immediately. So because it's important like to keep like the movement, the evolution. And so I really like that. Thanks, Marta.
Yeah, I completely agree, Leo. Yeah.
Thanks, Leo. Anyone else? Nope. Okay, so I can then try to wrap up, and this is my personal view on the workshop, but if any one of you, either my colleagues, organizers, or the audience want to add something that consider that I'm missing, please feel free to do it. But what we have done is presenting, we have been discussing about challenges, opportunities when we organize digital fabrication activities for marginalized groups. There has been a lot of emphasis especially in the beginning in the discussion on immigrant groups, how to use digital fabrication in order to integrate these immigrant groups into the society. We have been discussing on, for example, some of the problems that these immigrants might have is that there is no motivation for learning, that they are far away from the culture. It's difficult for them to integrate into the culture. And one of the audience propose, or one of the things that they are doing is solving problems for their community, so community problems. And I think this is a very clever way of trying to integrate these people into society. So try to offer solutions in collaboration with the people from that country. Try to build solutions in order to solve real problems from their own communities. Other problems that we have is cultural barriers. They have been expressed that sometimes there are problems with hierarchies, for example, kids and adults. And it's something that we need to consider when we are organizing these workshops for this group. So we need to try to, as we mentioned in Make for Change, we try to get to know the group before starting activity with them. So try to know which are their mechanics, which are their weaknesses, which are their strengths, and so on. And for that, it's very important to approach to the community. In our case, what we have been doing is we have not advertised, let's say, okay, let's do this for just immigrants, but where does these youngsters with risk of exclusion go? So they go to these youth workshops. So we went there, we were discussing with the leaders of each one of the workshops and try to involve them in the organization of the activity. As Marta said, we are very proud of some of the results of this, because these workshop leaders, they were eager to continue the activities by themselves. So they don't want, I mean, they want us to organize more workshops with them, but at the same time, they would like to organize the activities or their own activities inside the workshop without the need of having us instructing there. So this approaching the leader of the community is something that I think is very important. It has been commented by some of you, but it's I guess that is some of the things that we consider success of our projects. There has been also a lot of discussion, and I agree about this frustration. This is perhaps the main challenge, and is very difficult to deal with the frustration, especially in the groups that we are working with. Frustration can come from many different, how can I say, many different places. It can be that you are doing an activity that perhaps is not of their interest. It might be that you are going very quickly or that you are going very slow. It might be that there is a big unbalance in the group. So there are people who they would like some activities, and in the same group there are people that they would like more another type of activity. So I think frustration, you should consider when we are organizing these workshops, how to deal with the frustration and try to predict where the frustration can come up, and then we can have this. For this, it's very important to know the community and have the community leaders there, and then try to have some kind of backup plans. This has not been commented, but perhaps since we have been discussing about frustration, I think that it's important to take into consideration. So I have my notes here, but I think I have almost anything that I want to share with you. Is there anything, Heidi, Marta, Lena, that you would like to add?
I think I'm good anyways. You covered a lot of ground there. Good wrap up.
Okay, anything else from the audience? So do you think that I should add something there? Something that I missed and you consider important? No.
I don't know about the adding here, but I have a question.
for you.
Yeah, please.
Yes, I was very impressed by all of the discussion and presentation today. I think that you have been doing like such a great and important work. So I have a question. So what do the participants that you have been working with, what do they see digital fabrication in their perspective? What is it, a hobby, or is it could be a work skill, or what is it? What do they see if you had a chance to ask them?
I think there has been participants who have, after our workshop, have kind of got the idea of having their own company, starting to kind of make their own business, like design their jewelry and sell them or something like that. Or maybe some have only liked that as a hobby or doing something for themselves, but also this business aspect has come up within the feedback we got.
Yeah, and digital fabrication is fun and it's creative, and doing these activities together in groups, and kind of it helps them learn these valuable computer skills and design skills that are kind of, you can take them from digital fabrication and transfer them into a completely different kind of environment. And I somehow see that everything that people will learn in a makerspace or a Fab Lab will inspire and help them if they want to, are willing and kind of interested in taking advantage of these workshops and skills that they learn. And it would be great to give everyone some empowerment and some confidence in their skills and something that they can take. And whatever they end up doing, they can say that they learned something valuable. And I think that they will, especially if we manage to do some sort of a continuum with the participants instead of them participating in these standalone workshops.
Yeah, I agree with Heidi. This is a very important point. Right now, we struggle in order to keep this continuity. Let's see how we can organize in the following 2 years. But in the end, I think also that even if they learn something, they start thinking about the potential of digital fabrication. The good advantage is that, at least here in Finland, in Europe, in general, the makerspace and the Fab Lab are really open spaces. So anyone can go there, visit the premises, and if they want to do something there, they are free to do it. So this is what we are trying also to do with the participants of the workshop. So it's not only to teach some specific skills, but to show which are the other skills that they can learn in these facilities. And if they are interested in, they can visit us, they can visit Fab Lab Oulu, they can visit another Fab Lab that we have downtown Oulu, and they can ask their staff and they can start working there. So it's like, I mean, it's like the workshop that we are organizing is like a kickoff. So we introduce digital fabrication. Many of them, they have not seen any digital fabrication tool before. They don't know what a laser cutter is, vinyl cutter is. They don't know the potential. But with this, we invite them. And actually, we have had one of the things that we are doing, and we didn't have time to comment here, is that if someone is interested in developing their own project, we will give them support. So we have had, for example, one of the girls, they were interested in create some decoration for her house, and we have helped her to do the design. We have going with her to the Fab Lab, taught them how to use the laser cutter there, and we guide them through the process of creating the artifact, the object that they wanted to build. So this is something also that I consider very, very important. So it's not just have a workshop, but to guide participants that are interested in continuing or in knowing more in learning these new skills. So I don't know if Marta wants to add something else.
Yeah, well, I think you mentioned everything, but well, I think Megumi knows also, she has been working with this. So even if they express that they are very scared or reluctant to use the computer and use software, and when you end the workshop, this person has been creating a lot of things with Inkscape and is enthusiastic about it. And then this person managed to work with the machine without anybody supervising. Then I think this is already a huge achievement for that person. And this happens with many of them. So if they are not even going in the path of using as such digital fabrication, but any of the skills they get individually from the workshops, I think it's more than enough. Yeah.
Any more questions from the audience? Comments? Okay, so then I think that we can finish, but before going there, I would appreciate if you could summarize what you get out of this workshop. So I think that you can see my browser. So there is a website there that reads www.menti.com. So if you add this one and then the code 44270930, you have everything in the screen. You can write in one sentence, what is the main outcome of the workshop? So what do you get out of this workshop? What have you learned? Perhaps a short summary of what is your final idea on the workshop. Whatever you can come up, please write it there. We would like to see which is your impression. And I think we have more questions in the
No,
chat.
Marta was sharing the code. And
okay.
the
No, well, no, and then Oswaldo, yes, Oswaldo was asking how to address making and digital fabrication with marginalized groups, because they don't have Fab Lab, but there is a great do-it-yourself culture there. So as I think the main place where to start is listen what they are in, listen to them. So get something they are interested in, and they may be interested in fabricating, and start from there. So if there is a great do-it-yourself culture, I think that happens also in Finland. So I think that is a great starting point for working with any group.
Yeah, and actually in the project we have mostly used mobile Fab Lab devices. Because of Corona, we haven't been able to go to Fab Labs here as well. It has been kind of impossible during this year. So those mobile Fab Lab devices, if you're able to buy a mobile vinyl cutter that wasn't that expensive, and you are able to take that with you to the places where the people are.
Mm.
Yeah, I think digital fabrication is very broad. So yes, you can. I think Lena's suggestion is one of the best one. If you want to start strictly with digital fabrication, so they start some designs in a computer and then create something, I think the vinyl cutter is the best option, because you can buy plotter or vinyl cutter for less than 300 euros. Then you can also use, I mean, some part of this digital fabrication or this maker culture is not just the machines, working with the machines, or even working with the software. There are some alternative competencies, like problem-solving skills, like creativity, like communication, that you can exercise, or you can practice those skills without the need of machines. There are plenty of different workshop ideas that you can do just with cardboard and scissors. For example, when we organize workshop with teachers, I always like to start doing something with the hands. I give them a cardboard, I give them some scissors, and then they need to design something and cut it with scissors. And then after that, we move to the laser cutter. But they see what is the difference between having, or what could be the advantage between having manual tools and having digital fabrication tools. But in the end, with manual tools, you can do a lot of things. And then the second recommendation, if you have a strong do-it-yourself culture, approach to the communities, approach to these do-it-yourself communities. Go there, learn from them, and try to guess which are their needs, as Marta said. So you need to go to these communities and learn which are their needs. And after that, you can start thinking how you can help them in order to organize activities that support these needs. So get close to the communities. Okay, so Leo is Apropedia. Yeah, I think I have not gone through this one, but thanks for sharing. Yeah, Fab Labs manifesto, how to make almost anything with barely anything. Yeah, I guess this is the idea. Thanks for sharing, Leo. Okay, so yes, wrapping up, I have 3 comments. We have 3 comments in Mentimeter. Okay, excellent initiative and guiding through the process of empowering vulnerable communities. Yes, digital fabrication empowers people, absolutely. We have done a meaningful work, thanks for that. Yeah. Yeah, this is a very nice sentence. Actually, you have put it much better than I did. The amount of frustration should not extremely overtake the amount that one learns. So this is very, very nice sentence. Okay, so Heidi, I don't know if I can stop sharing. So if you want to show the final slide. Yeah, I could share the final. Oh, I cannot share. Host disabled participant screen sharing. You wanna share the last slide? So those are just our social media links. So please go and follow us so you can keep updated on our fabulous workshops and see all the great pictures of our participants and hopefully some academic research as well. And please go check out our paper in the FabLearn that Marta based her presentation on. And for those of you who are comfortable in putting on your camera, please do, because I would like to get a final photo of all our workshop participants and share it on our social media. So if you're not fine with it, that's totally fine. So you just can keep it off. Thank you. No worries, Behnas, it's completely fine. Okay, wait a second, I will try and take screenshots so everyone looks jolly and inspired. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I think we are done. So thank you for everyone for taking part and for the really inspired discussions. We were a little bit nervous that no one will show up, and we were very, very happy to see you all here. And yeah, we will try and work a little summary based on this discussion and workshop.
And yeah, follow us on social media so you might actually see when we publish something concerning it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.